Today, we are blessed to present Supreme Master Ching Hai's message entitled The Reason Why Souls Come Down to This World, Part 1 of 4, on Between Master and Disciples, given in English on November 6, 2023.
Russia, go home now.
Hi there, lovings. I think I would just have to talk to you because you have been kind of pressuring me to change this world into a paradise as an order from your mind. Things are not that simple, okay? Otherwise, Buddha would have done that. Jesus would have done that. And there would be no need for me to try all my best to change people. You see, before coming into this world, or whatever world, the souls have aspired to become more perfect, greater, somehow, because this is something newly created by Maya and the team. Like the fallen angel, for example, he likes to go against God to prove that he is better. Now, after creating this world, he invited the souls to come down, promising them that they will be greater than what they have been. And the souls, all souls are innocent, then wanted to prove that they can be better or something new, like an adventure. So they volunteered to come down. And of course, if you want to be greater, you have to go through tests and examinations. Remember the story about Lord Mahavira when he was still practicing his meditation to get more enlightened? One of the gods in heaven praised him, saying, "Oh, Lord Mahavira is this and that and others, so superb, so wonderful, so courageous, just so exceptional." He liked Lord Mahavira very much. And then one of his subordinates on the side said to the god, "Oh, we're not sure about this. Don't praise him too much and too early. Allow me to go down to test him. Otherwise, I don't have as much respect for him as you do. I have to prove it to myself before I can praise him or accept him." That God didn't say anything. So you see, this testing eager being in that heaven came down and manifested himself into all different kinds of terrible beings or situations to test Lord Mahavira. That was before Lord Mahavira became fully enlightened, and he still did not have enough power to even go against this diva or whatever you might call him. Definitely not a very gentle, benevolent being. You can see that. So Lord Mahavira had to endure a lot of physical suffering as well as a lot of discomfort, maybe psychological, mental, or emotional. But nevertheless, Lord Mahavira overcame all of them. After 12 years of all kinds of trials and tribulations from this ignoramus subordinate of a small god or some heavens, some kind of heaven god, then he attained total enlightenment. Can you imagine how much suffering he had to go through in all those 12 years? And we only heard some of it through some record, probably by someone who was maybe one of his disciples or maybe some of the devas in heaven who witnessed everything, who used to want to protect Lord Mahavira and knew all that. And then probably the deva manifested himself into human form, became his disciple or his companion, and wrote it all down. Perhaps Lord Mahavira told people about it, some of it, and some of them maybe recorded it in writing. So we fortunately could know something about Lord Mahavira practicing time of trial and testing. So now we know that our souls have a spark of God inside, are made in the image of God, and God dwells within them even. So you wonder why the soul could be deluded by Maya in order to do this and that, all kinds of things in the world, and let themselves be tested vigorously, cruelly even sometimes. Because the souls want to be something greater than just being a soul, enjoying bliss and happiness given by God, by His love. So now the similar thing is happening in our world. On this planet, there are many souls who undergo a lot of pain and suffering. It's because of that. Because they want to be great, perhaps, but they have no experience to deal with the delusional world and the Maya's test. So they fail, or maybe they wanted to fall to see how it goes. And knowing that in this physical world, the Maya would punish any souls who don't stick to moral and virtuous standards. The souls will go along with it willingly until one day they have had enough of it and awaken. Then they long to go home. Whether or not they have been greater than before or just as they were, they want to go home. They have had enough with all this tribulation and trials. Thus, many masters came and went. They still do not listen and go home. So the master talks, reasonings, or logic will appeal only to those who are ready, who endure the most suffering and are full of pain and sorrow in this physical existence. Then they will be willing to come home, following the master's footsteps and or instructions. There are also those who are saintly by nature already been trained and tried in many long lifetimes before. Then they will be ready to follow the master. What the master spoke, what the master told and explained, they understood immediately. There's no question in their mind. So they trust the master at once and follow whatever the master wants to tell them and teach them. These are the so-called good disciples. They progress fast, they are powerful, and they are very useful and helpful to humankind. Not a lot of them, though, because any master who came down can only take some of his so-called right hand. Those who followed him before or followed her before have already been trained, already been tested, already been purified. They came down purposely to support the master's mission. These are already kind of saints and sages, or have studied with the master, been disciples many lifetimes before, already liberated, but came down to earth on purpose, just to support their master. Because without a physical connection to this world, they could not help much. The most effective way to help humankind or any beings on this planet is that you have to be there with them in the physical domain and do all kinds of physical things the way beings on this planet do. Also, in order to understand their suffering, okay? Because if they're not suffering together with the humans, then it's very difficult for them to understand human suffering and pain. It's easy to say, okay, you can look and you see, but how many people can you look at? How much suffering can you see? It's not like you can go to all the houses and check out who's suffering, who's not, and what's the number of suffering beings. Because if you don't see it, you don't experience it yourself, it's very difficult to know. It's like a rich man, it's difficult for him to understand the difficulty and the hardship of the homeless person on the street in winter, even without food, without drink, without sufficient clothing, and without a place to protect himself from the elements. That's why most people, even though they want to do good, they just say, oh, I do good. I love animals. They eat the animal people, not thinking twice. They say, oh, I love people. I like to help poor people. But how many of them really go out of their way to help poor people? Or to give food to the food bank even? Or to give a homeless person a shelter? Even as simple as his garden shed or maybe a garage. You see? It's so easy to say it, but difficult to understand. Just like when they were in heaven, they promised God that they can do anything, and do anything to help humans. They will be good, they will be kind, they will be benevolent, all this and that and others. But when they came down to earth, facing situations like other humans have to face daily, then they would not always use the right judgment. They would not be able to react in a righteous way or in a correct way. Because before they go down to this physical domain, they have to take on this instrument called the mind. Yeah, and then when they are in the physical body, they have to take another called the brain, which no one needs in the higher levels. See, when you go down all the way, just say maybe from the fourth or the fifth level, you have to go through the third level, the Brahman level, okay? And after that, you have to go through the destructive and constructive level, which is the second level. And then there you get the mind. The mind is equipped with some elementary kind of knowledge and experience of how to deal with this and that situation. But in the world, there are thousands of things to experience and to go through. So the mind cannot always supply all the answers. And thus, the brain has to supply some answers to some situations for the humans to deal with different circumstances. And the same with the people who came down from the higher level. They might be also perplexed and confused for some time until they probably met a master, another master again, or the reincarnated master who imparted to them the enlightening method, like the Guanyin method of the inner heavenly light and inner heavenly melody, meaning the direct teaching of God. Then they will be awakened, enlightened, and they can deal with situations better because they are more enlightened. They have more wisdom, not just worldly knowledge from school, but they have access to the innate wisdom which is inherent in all of us. And now, in this world, there are two sides. We all know that, the positive side and the negative side. So some humans choose to follow the negative because it seems to be very accessible, easy, and you can see the result right away. You can decide to do things which are not godly or heavenly, but it would give them some thrill, some kick temporarily and quickly. So they would follow this type of lifestyle. Like people sometimes they are feeling bored or depressed, and then they go out and they grab some animal people meet in the bar, and then they drink some alcohol with it, and they feel the effect right away. Like they feel like they are less depressed and they're happier and things like that. Until this effect wears out and they become even more miserable, and the physical side effect also will bite them. They will get more sickness and even more depression, and they'll have to spend more time in the hospital, and all kinds of things will affect them and affect their business because they can't think straight due to alcohol and too much animal people meat and the poison from the meat and from the alcohol. And they become less and less intelligent, so they might not do business very well. They also might not treat their family as well as they want to. Thus, family discord will be evident, will be created, and the family breaks up. Also, the broken family will have a great bad effect on the children and the society at large by the consequence of it, because we will have less intelligent people and less happy children, etc. And you can look around our world and you see how messy our world is. It's because people don't give themselves the correct physical fuel for their body, which is like a car. If you give it good fuel, then it runs better and it runs longer, similar to our body. Alcohol and animals, people, meat, or drugs, and wrong stuff that's put into your body, they make your brain, your mind confused. It becomes like a hybrid, so you can't control it. And it will just give you all kinds of false information, and you cannot think correctly and rightly, and thus you keep doing things wrong. And the more wrong you do, the more wrong results will come out. But people have been so deep inside of this kind of trap, so they cannot even realize that they are doing wrong and getting the wrong outcome. Thus, our world is such a misery.